Come on, Laurie, it's up to you.
Lauren, did you want to do a check-in? Did you have like a check-in question?
Oh, um, yeah, so I guess I think this is number 20, 4 of the Reimagining Wealth touchdowns. And we're here with Vincent Arena, going to show us how to use Trove today. And he's designed a little check-in that we can do. And I think what I asked is what are we reading, like what books are inspiring us? Okay.
Cool. So I just posted the link to the event page. This is a cool activity where you could basically answer the check-in question and then you see the results on a map, so you can kind of see where everyone is all over the world.
Chibi is with us now. Hey, Chibi! I have my cup of coffee, man.
Hi, I couldn't find the link.
Yeah,
In the
that's something that we have to be we have a be we're aware of the Zoom link, right? I forgot yesterday to renew the calendar invites. I really forgot it, and I can't. We can't forget this. We can't forget this because not everybody is related to Sensorica, right? So it's very important to
I
renew.
I did send out the Zoom link on the email. It's at the top of the email.
Yeah, that's where I found it, yes.
Okay,
But
good.
no,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this is a good time for me to screen share quickly. Hey, Tiberius. Um,
Hi.
We have
I
we have Guilherme here. We have Guilherme here, folks.
just
Guilherme's in
wanted
the
to
house.
briefly mention Lauren and I added the event as a recurring on Trove, and there is an add to calendar button. So if you go to the you could either add just like one of the events, so like you can go to the like next event next week and add that to the calendar if you want, or if you click add to calendar and then whichever calendar system you use, or you could download it as an ICS, it'll add it as a recurring event. I'm not going to add it because I already added it, but it'll recur weekly on Friday. We set it for 10 times, and then it has the Zoom link right here. And we were about to do a check-in event, which is on the same page and answering the question, what
Vincent, just a doubt. This calendar is you developed this calendar, right? Is
Yeah.
not or is embedded in the Google sphere.
No, it's not in Google. I just Google Calendar. You can export it as an ICS or
Okay.
add it to Outlook or whatever other system you use.
Oh, that's great, man. Really great.
Yeah.
Not an easy thing to program, I imagine.
Yeah.
It's hard with the intricacies of ICS.
Man, kudos for you. Kudos for you. Kudos.
Thanks, Anisius. Francesco.
Okay, does everyone see the link that Vincent posted? I can post it again. We're just
I
filling
think
out
that
our
I
location on the
think
map and the books that are inspiring us
I
right
think
now.
that Guilherme didn't see it because Zoom has this characteristic. If you don't see the chat, you don't see anything previously that was put it on the chat.
Yeah, I just posted it again.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, good morning here. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah.
Good morning, Glenn. I just pinned my location here.
Here we go. So
Now we have Vincent.
I'm
That's
taking a look
cool.
here. What did you suggest, Vincent, for us to do? Vincenzo, my friend.
So basically, when you go to the event page, if you scroll down a little bit, there's a check-in activity. And the question is, what are we reading that inspires us? I just submitted my response. So, but if you didn't respond yet, there's a little pop-up that just says to put your name. You can put a location if you want, and then you can answer the second question. And then you can also see all the other check-ins. So either by like zooming around the map and seeing where people are, and if you click on the pin, it'll open up their response, or by clicking on the answers on the side here, it'll take you to where someone is. So it's a cool way to kind of explore really like where people are, and also learn more about what people are reading. Let me know if there's any questions.
How was the Donella Meadows book?
It's way more like a textbook in system science than I expected. There's actual like diagrams and figures, and there's like a technical skill to systems mapping that one of the things that like in a book on systems that actually have to read is quite complicated to understand. Like, okay, they're actually like mapping these systems in a very specific way, and they're treating very like treating like flows and stocks as like different symbols, and there are like certain rules to like mapping the system, and like what you like draw as the boundary. And when I'm like thinking about really complex things, I'm like, oh, this would be a really useful tool to like map something in a way that I can pass it off to somebody else, and it makes more sense than like a mind map that has a bit more like structure and routine to it. So that's what I like about it, but it's also quite complex, I would say, or it's kind of it's a practice. So it would be nice to have some other people that have read it or that do that can be like, am I doing this?
I'll read it too, and we can have a boring book club.
Yeah, that'd be great. You're reading Dune right now. Have you seen the film yet, or are you gonna wait until you?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, Lauren.
Okay.
Actually, there's a peer that eventually is here with us in the touchdowns or the work parties. That is Marco Zubieta from Bolivia. He has a book club in Bolivia. Remember, Laurie? He has a really extensive book club. Yeah, and I think he was doing some book readings monthly with the folks. Not only chapters, but
Yeah,
the
he
whole,
has good books.
yeah, the whole books. Yeah. Well, guys, I'm excited to be in Trove. Wow, really great, Vincenzo. Love it, man. Love it. I think it's impressive. I'm going to confess something. I'm the most organic person that you can imagine in the planet, the most open one, the most interactive, the most emergent in a complexity way of doing things. But it's nice when you have things organized in a certain pattern of organizational partner, a certain partner of organization that allows anyone to have agency, right? So this partner of organization that you are coding allows anyone to have agency in a very beautiful, a very elegant, and very smooth way. So this is something that attracts me. So yeah, I'm just giving you more kudos for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Lucius.
Yeah. So what we do, we have a lot of things to discuss, right? We have to. Are you going to do a whole walkthrough Trove with us today? I think the Laudi said something in this sense, or is not the case. I don't know. Or are you going direct to the MetaMask? We're going to deep dive in cryptos and blockchain, Gitcoin, wallets, and things like that. We're going to start to do this a little bit in these work parties. You see, I don't know where are we heading?
Lauren, I have a maybe suggestion for a potential like format of the agenda today. So maybe we could do I could do a few minutes just doing a brief go to Trove and like the event page and how to edit events, and then we could dive into the MetaMask for the majority of the meeting, and then at the end of the meeting we go back to okay, let's actually like curate notes and basically what happened during the event. Like let's use like the last 5 minutes of the meeting to basically catalog into the repository, and so we can get a feeling for like what that whole process is like.
Okay.
Oh, that's great. Just a little. Just I'm going to ask you, Vincent, a little. Did Lauren invite you to be part of the collection that we're going to start to make in the Gitcoin space?
No, but I did just get on the email list yesterday, so I'm taking baby steps.
Yeah, in the sense that the Trove project will be one of, because it's a, as you know, the Gitcoin space is related to DAOs and to Web 3.0, right? And
Yeah.
I remember in the first sync, the first touchdown that you came and you presented Trove with your drawings on paper. Remember that? With your drawings on paper? Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. With your drawings on paper, I said to you, well, what about Web 3, Web 3.0, right? I said, oh, this is something that's in my horizon, but I can't. So it's a beautiful way to start, right? The Trove and the Catalyst project in the together with other DAOs, let's say, with other DAOs that resonates in the same frequency that the Trove project and the Catalyst is already vibrating, right, my friend? So be very welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And some of those is now, since we last spoke, are digital, which is really cool, or starting to be. I'll just share a link for anyone that's interested. We did a presentation at the Mapathon event, and that's the event page. And maybe I could actually just share this because it relates to the event space. So this is kind of like what an example of like an event page looks like after you've added basically like content or like curated resources to the event repository. So this is the Trove presentation, which is part of the main like Mapathon 21 event. So there's a link to there. There's also links to like my profile or the groups that hosted it. And so like in the same way, there's also links like for any events that you guys host, there'll be a link back to that group. And then you can have like a detailed event description with images. The event repository, you can add like a video. So this is of that session that shows up here. And then there's an image gallery. I only added one image, so there's only one right here. You could also embed an iframe. So this is an iframe of Google Slides, basically. So I have like the slideshow right here, but you could add like a Kumu graph or any like interactive artifact that came out of the meeting. And then there's also data that's linked to that. So I wanted to make sure that if anyone came across this page and they were interested of like learning more or getting involved, it was like linked to the various projects. So there's a link to Trove. There's a link to Catabot, which is a bot that we have, which is going to be open source. This is one of the project source that we have. And then multi-layer ontology mapping is like another kind of related project that I'm involved in. And then it also has all the related events that presented at this particular Mapathon. So if people wanted to learn more. And then another thing that's interesting is, so you can add like tags to your event. So for example, network and like mapping. And if you click on one of those tags, it goes to the like topic page for that tag. And then you can see, you can learn more. So if someone's like, wait, what's mapping? Like what's Gitcoin? And then they go to that tag, they can see all the resources related to mapping. all the events that mapping was discussed, and then you could see the videos from those events, the different communities, Open Global Mind, system mapping, and then also the related topics. So like ecosystem maps thinking. So that's like a quick overview of like what the event page could be once you add lots of information to it, and how it's kind of designed to be like a network of knowledge where everything is all interlinked so people can really explore and discover and learn more based off of what they come across and find. And I think that's probably a good overview. Lauren, unless you want me to go into any more detail now, it would be helpful to really go at the end of the event today to dive more into like how to actually edit an event and add all that sort of information, and any questions maybe we could either do now or the end, but up to you.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to edit one event and then kind of make up a plan about how we're going to. Did you manage to add our past events to the to our group?
I didn't have a chance to do it, but I think we can. Yeah, I think once we edit this event, and then we had there were a few things we discussed doing. One was like creating like an event description, like a 1 or 2 sentence summary of this meeting, like what it is, how other people, if other people saw it on the calendar, what they would see, and to say, oh yeah, I want to sign up. And then I think we also discussed a question about privacy, just making sure that everyone is on the same page about do all the videos and the artifacts that come from the event, should they be public where like anyone could find the recording and the transcript, or should we keep it in some way to people who are logged in and in specific groups? So I think those were the two main questions that I had that I wanted to talk about before importing any information into Trove.
Does that have an opinion as to whether our discussions and stuff will be public or private? And I just wanted to say that I don't think anyone here much cares, but I think it's good to warn, just for privacy hygiene, that when what we're doing is actually pretty significant in terms of the technology that we're co-developing here. And so it will make, what we're doing is making it significantly easier to search through a massive database of calls. What that allows you to do is zero in on topics and also on people. So it's infinitely easier to find what people have said throughout this conversation, and that also compiles a psychological profile on people that is more extensive than you normally find. So I just wanted to say with that caveat, so it's not just like, oh, is it okay? Because one thing to put something on YouTube, and it's another thing to put something public on Trove, because it's more properly indexed. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, that's a good clarification, Lonnie.
Yeah.
It's a welcoming one. I personally, I don't have any problem with that, and I think that everybody here doesn't have to, but it's good that you made it. And I have a question for you, my friend Vincent. We're using Outer to transcript, right? The contents. Did you develop any API that already is integrated with Otter? So with some keywords that we put there, we can already embed this on the Trove page of the Reimagining project when we're mapping out the encounter. Hello?
So I also use Otter, which I love. And I'm unmuted. Can you guys hear me?
Now we're hearing you. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I was saying I also use Otter, and I really enjoy it. I haven't yet worked with a group that has been posting events to Trove that uses Otter, and that also wanted to have the kind of like Otter or the transcript like visible on the event page. And so I really that specific feature, if that's something that you guys want, that's a feature that I would like to build. But I don't typically build a feature unless there's at least one person who's using it. Because just from like a resource perspective, it doesn't make sense to build something. So it would be really helpful to know from you guys like what are the actual things that would be like most helpful. So right now, the thing that I did add as a feature was you can paste the just like chat, the Zoom chat, and extract all the different like links and URLs from it. So at the end of this meeting, we'll save the chat file, drag it onto the event page, and then it'll automatically create a resource library of all the links from this event. So if you guys have anything you want to share throughout the next like few hours in the chat, feel free to post any URLs or links. And then you can go in and like edit or delete those really easily afterwards. The other one is, and this is something that Lauren and I worked on that was with some of the Kika Lab events, was pasting the like transcript as a text file, and then being able to basically search for events by that text. So being able to type in like Vincent or Trove, and then see all the different events in Kika Lab or Open Global Mind or Game B where either Vincent or Trove were mentioned. And so like being able to help kind of find either event that you were at that you know something was mentioned and you just don't remember when it was. So that's kind of how that would be useful. But in terms of actually, like, do we want to show this transcript on the event page, or do we just want to have a link to it and then view it in Otter? Right now, the default is just a link to it in Otter. But yeah, I would be curious to know if you guys would be interested in having a integration with the Otter API. And if you're using Otter consistently, then that would be something that would be easy to automate, right? So like Zoom lets you automatically download your videos into Google Drive or like upload them to YouTube automatically. You can like set up automations like that. So if it's something that's going to happen like every week, there's going to be an Otter transcript, do some repeatable tasks, and that's something that obviously we could work to make a software that more effective.
I think Vincent, that this is a beautiful showcase of the capabilities of the Trove's platform of software. You see, why do I say this? Because actually nowadays, all the folks related to Web3, right? All the DAOs related to that, they do community, they do EMA calls, they do a lot of daily calls related to the project itself, right? It's various instances, but if it doesn't have someone to resume it, no one checks it out, or few people checks it out later, right? Checks it out later in a sense that has the time to check it out later. The whole thing, right? Sometimes it's an hour, 2 hours. So to showcase this, especially when we're going to work together in the Gitcoin space, right? In the next match funding round that's going to happen in a month or so, it's going to be interesting to showcase how this gives velocity, gives dynamics, kinetic dynamic to these encounters, and highlights the essence of it, right? So, at least at my perspective, this is very interesting because you see, there's something in the internet, as you know, that is related to memory, right? Everything that you do in internet, you have a digital memory of it, right? in various layers, right? And if we have only the essence of the things that is really, you can treat the rest, let's say, the rest, I'm talking in a digital perspective, right? Uh, Not in a relational perspective, but it treats the rest as not, as, as the, you don't need the rest if you have the access, right? So you can discard the rest. You don't have to generate digital waste, let's say, especially in the Web 2.0, right?
Yeah.
Because in the Web 3.0 we won't have this happening, right? But it's interesting to showcase the what Trove can do besides all the things they're already doing, right? In the very catalyst way. That's my perspective. I don't know if Lolly has the same take, or TB has the same take, or Atos, or Guilherme. Hey, Anthony, be very welcome, my friend. And let's go.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, and it's a problem that I definitely, yeah, like really realized during the pandemic, and especially being in like Kika Lab, where there was like all this like really amazing discussion and information and learning, and I felt like it wasn't being recycled enough, where it could be better. And yeah, how do we like create an organizational memory that like doesn't make it like, it makes it easier, and it kind of encourages and incentivizes us to share information instead of like hoarding it in our Google Drive, or like a siloed part of the internet. So I think obviously the two trade-offs that seem to just constantly come into play with this, which is like, which is interesting because this is the based off of the question Lauren asked about like privacy, is like there's kind of a balance or a trade-off between privacy and openness, right? So the more that we have like a really cohesive index of like what's happened, obviously the more you have to think about the privacy concerns of that. And so we've been trying to take it very slow so that we find the right balance, and then making sure like all the decisions are really make sense also for that end goal of like how do we share information and knowledge and hopefully wisdom across organizations as well.
Just one more question, my friend. One of the things that I love about some browsers, like the Brave browser or even the Firefox, is that you don't need to go to the application or to the web page to see them. You can see it. You can see using the browser with DuckDuckGo or with Quant. That's a European search engine. You can actually see the content without the ads, without the traceable things in the search engine. In the search engine. So, did you think about that? So we can see the contents in the Trove page, because man, if you thought about that, that's huge. That's huge, because we can use YouTube without going to YouTube. We can use YouTube only as a repository, right? Because yes, we're using YouTube as a repository, but we don't be trapped by their algorithms. So because there's a privacy issue.
Yeah.
Did you thought about that? I don't know. I'm just thinking here out loud.
I've been thinking of some ways to just kind of hijack the browser and search engine to do things. So like, for example, if there's actually like a Trove search engine now, so you can type in Trove and then reimagining like wealth, for example, and then when you search, it'll search through all the different information on Trove, which is cool. Instructions on how to add this. And so it'll show up the different, and you could like dial it down and say like, show me groups, projects, events, topics. But yeah, so it'll show like Reimagine Initiative. So this is today's event. And then it also has some topics, mental health, groups, reimagining wealth. And so this is kind of like, yeah, I don't know if this answers your question, but this is kind of how I've been thinking about it in terms of like just finding different ways of being able to find information. And obviously one of the like main functionalities, like the entire reason that I spent like years developing these kind of like interoperable like schemas is to be able to like filter down and like find specifically what you're looking for. And so that's like another aspect of like search without kind of like, that's not in the realm of a typical search engine where you could say like, okay, show me all the events about the environment that are happening in this date in this group, or right, like, the kind of like search functionality is something that like in some ways, like Catalyst is a search tool, but it's only a search tool because of this kind of like community curated knowledge network where people are incentivized to add the information in a way that preserves the context. So that way somebody is actually finds that information when they need it. That's the whole kind of like design thesis, is like helping people find information when they need it because it's tagged appropriately. So that way it's not, it's a very clear process of finding information.
Yeah, it have an internal use, right? Internal in the sense in the platform, right? What I ask you is not if you have a search engine. If we can embed the repository that we're creating on YouTube in the Trove web page without the need to go to YouTube.
Exactly.
And not being trapped by their algorithm, right? Not being trapped by their semantic algorithm. So that'll be nice because we don't actually going to be going only to use YouTube as a repository, not as the main source to view things, right? So
yeah, exactly. And you can, once you put the link, then you could play the video within the event page and then see the related events, or choose how you want to create a healthier information landscape, still using right YouTube as the back end. But yeah, exactly right.
That's great, man. Well, I have more questions, but let's go through what you suggest for us. So let's go, Vincent.
Do you want to go through something, Vincent, or should we switch to MetaMask?
I have one other thing, and then we could switch to MetaMask. This came up when we were talking about Otter. So this is the Otter call for the 7th, or actually, I don't know if this is US or European time. So call number 10. So there's a bunch of these keywords on the top that Otter automatically has. What I did was just copy them here, and then I took out the ones that I thought are, kind of like stop words, or like words that people wouldn't really use to actually find something. I'm curious if you think this would be like a good way to just tag the events, if we should like go into the Otter transcript and like extract those tags. And then that way for you guys to search within this kind of like database of internal calls, you can like have a drop down which will have all the different tags and keywords. Does that seem like something we should do before we import the information onto Trove? You can obviously do this afterwards on Trove, but it might be easier to do it in this like bulk spreadsheet format.
Yeah, I was thinking to do in a bulk. If you haven't transferred them over yet, we might as well just finish doing the sentences, and I'll copy and paste the keywords over.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I think we would just need to separate them by commas, which it doesn't seem like Otter does, unfortunately. I don't know if you
Okay.
export these keywords in some way, or maybe putting them into like a Google Doc will like fix that formatting. But yeah, we could work on that later. I just wanted to bring that up since we were talking about Otter.
Mhm. And can you just show what it looks like? I think OGM had a page with all the calls indexed. Can you just show us a sample?
Yeah, definitely. So let me do that now. So within the building of OGM, going into the call repository space or room, this basically has the different calls that, or the events that have some sort of associated data, whether it's like a recording or a transcript. So basically this is the, right now they're being sorted by date. However, you can change, if you're looking for something specific, you can use the filter top. So you can filter by the topics that were discussed. So these are like the keywords, for example, that we would extract from Otter.
Can anyone see anything? I can't see anything. It's just black.
Yeah, no, I thought it was me.
Yeah, me too.
I
I
might
can't
have
see.
I might have shared the wrong window. Let me retry that.
Vincent, Zoom,
Okay.
Zoom is worried about you, man.
I know. Or maybe I was just zoomed in so much you could only see one pixel on my screen.
Yeah.
Is this working now?
Totally. We're seeing.
Okay, we're good. Okay, cool. So yeah, I was saying this is the call library for Open Global Mind. You can filter these calls by the topics, which these would be the keywords that we would enter in from the Otter. So like mapping, Trove, DAOs. So like once you click a keyword, then it will condense down to those events. The other interesting thing is that this call repository is also not just event like hosted by this group, but also events that were like hosted by multiple groups. So for example, this is a Flotilla Friday call where we like talked about OGM and where we wanted to like add this into the OGM repository. So it's kind of like cross-posted into two groups. And then there's also some like Kiko Lab meetings that we tagged with Open Global Mind, and then there as well. So the cool thing is if you guys have calls that might interact with other groups, for example, like if this call, which is like diving into a lot, we can like add Trove as a host, and then this call could show up on the Trove event repository. And so it's ways to have these kind of connections and like webs across different groups.
Man, this is beautiful. Vincent, just one thing more, man. Forgive me, folks, but I have a lot of questions for Vincent today. I don't know why, but I have. but
I'm okay with it. You don't have to forgive.
But the thing is, wouldn't it be beautiful if you have the option for folks to identify themselves as groups or as hubs? Because you see, when you're talking about a network language, really network language, we don't talk about groups, right? We talk about nodes, we talk about hubs. It would be beautiful if we have this type of language in Trove, because we're not a group here. We're actually a type of hub, right? We're very permeable, very open source. It's not specifically a group, you see. This is just a suggestion, Vincent. I don't know if you thought about that, but when you have the softwares like GFi that makes the mapping, the social intelligence graphic mapping, you have this type of language, like calling nodes, hubs, and things like that. So
Vincent, why don't you show a map? Why don't you show one of your maps?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and it's a great point, Vinicius. I've been really caught up on some of those decisions of like wording. Honestly, to be frank, the reason why I chose groups or hubs was that it was both the shortest, and I felt like it was the word that encompasses the most. Like, for example, the United Nations could have a group, like a makerspace could be considered a group. So a friend group could be considered a group. So it felt like the word that was the most flexible. But I do agree that like the ideal use case is for hubs or networks or online communities. And when you create a group, you can select your group type. I'm not sure how that would. Maybe instead of saying like group at the top, it could say like hub or network or like change depending on the type of group, because you're right, there are definitely some very important distinctions and in those, like how you actually use the words to describe things. That has been my thinking process, though, is like how to make it the most flexible. Does that, and I will also show you some of the network stuff as well. I'm going to open that in a new tab, though. And just to also just mention briefly, like, so you can also filter the date. For example, if you're looking for a specific call on a specific day, or this is that, I mentioned this before, but I didn't show it. This is where you can like search the transcript. So if there was a transcript uploaded, like I could type in Vincent, and then these are all the different calls where a transcript had mentioned me, or I had mentioned myself. And then you could change the way that the information is displayed as well. So like this is the long card view. It has all the topics here. And you can go to the event page to basically like see the detailed list of information.
Wait. Can you go back? Because that's what I wanted to see, actually, the call, what the spreadsheet looks like with the calls, all the calls on them.
There's also, so we're not using Airtable as a backend. However, we did some experiments with pulling information from other data sources. So for example, this is not tied to Trove, but this was a like precursor to Trove, to having the Trove data, where this is an Airtable of all the different calls. And so yeah, this is basically like the spreadsheet view as well. And this one is interesting, and I can actually show, Lauren, do you mind if I show the Kiko Lab one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I saw this in one of your newsletters, Kiko Lab newsletters, Laurie. It's very beautiful.
So this is the right now the data from all the events on Trove. So this kind of lets you have that like cross group functionality, and it's also like more integrated. Like you just click to go to the event page. But then we also added this feature where you could sync data from another database. So this is pulling information from the Kiko Lab like Airtable, and then you can filter by the like local tags that are in that database. So this is like the Monday calls, solutions, and you can also filter by all like the attendees. And this information, like these names, like these are people that I mean, some of them are on Trove, but this is just pulling just text from the Airtable database. So this is a cool feature for groups that don't want to like bulk import everything into Trove, but they still want to have some of the functionality. It's obviously like, then it gets a lot harder to like link this information up, because then it'll be spelled right and everything like that. But we wanted to still make it possible for people to like go to all calls, like, yeah, visualize the information without necessarily having it to the database. And I can show you guys what that Airtable looks like. And you can also export the information at any point that you want. And if you really enjoy Airtable, like re-import it into Airtable, which is nice. Add some additional functionality as well. Although Lauren, I would say this Airtable is a bit of a I think it was a bit of an overkill.
Right.
Which is cool. But here, so this is the just the meeting. So we had the calls, we had the different like video 1, video 2. Then we had the appreciation bites, which was like a way where people could submit appreciation attached to a meeting for other people. And so, for example, like, Daphne said that Lorelai brings the group to focus, notice and response to social dynamics. And there's also links to like the hot seats that were like presented. So like the different like presentations. And then basically this was like a huge, just doing this and developing this on Airtable was like a huge inspiration for where we're at right now with like having a similar type of tool on Trove that looks less like a spreadsheet, which is good in some ways, but also nothing compares to the ability to like bulk edit large quantities of data in a spreadsheet like Airtable, in my opinion. It's like
do the guys over Airtable know that you guys made a type of fork using their platform?
I don't know. I have I did like tell Airtable that I was like building on top of it for COVID response, and they gave me like a free pro account, which I'm still using. I think I would be like thousands of dollars if I did not have the free account. And so I think they know I'm doing advanced shit with it, but I don't know if they know how much.
They're open source, but they're not open code, right?
I'm not sure if they're open. I don't know if they're open source, and they have.
I do not think they're open source.
No.
Yeah, there's a few open source alternatives, but I didn't know about them when I started building this stuff. They're not there yet, but they have really great API as well. So I built some ways to like sync information across the different like services, which is cool. They have a lot more integration than any other like spreadsheet tool that I've found. Like you could like integrate with Google Calendar, or like you can export as XML or JSON or like any file format. So it's very user friendly in terms of like using it to prototype and then build integrations with other services.
How much of this dynamics that you Louding, when you Louding built this on Airtable and then export Trove, of course this is a manual thing, right, Louding? You do it in a manual way. You don't automate. It's not automized, let's say. But did you think, Vincent, in creating some type of algorithm to facilitate not only the export, not only the organization of all these bytes of information or these perspectives, but the way to fill it up, or this is already something that you already developed?
Vincent said, "Excuse me for a second, guys." So I'm not even sure if he's here.
Yeah. Okay. No, he's
Sorry,
here.
Vinicius. I missed part of that. Yeah, my sister has to run to urgent care, so I was just had to take care of her for a second. I'm back if you wanted to. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I just asked that when you Louding were developing all this this very interesting and very go direct to the point job work in an Airtable as a reference. What we're doing today on Trove is, of course, you've done in a very manually way, right? Putting the hands on, doing it in a manually way. And I was just thinking here, if when you thought this dynamics in the Trove, did you develop any algorithm, any line of code to automatize some things, or you didn't? That's my question.
I feel like we talked about Lauren, when we were going through, or like when you were going through the calls and trying to basically like pick out what pieces of information to like curate and like highlight in the like the wraps, for example, or like the notes, or what topics to add. We had this discussion over like what is Lauren's algorithm? Like what's the algorithm in her brain that's like choosing specific things as and saying like these are the valuable pieces. I don't think that we actually got to the point of developing any like actual software algorithms for doing that, but we have had a lot of discussions about like what is that algorithm and like could we possibly quantify that at some point. I think we agreed though that that human curation component is still really valuable, and how do we just use technology to make it easier for people to curate information, right? Like reduce the amount of time and effort that it takes to like catalog, but still kind of having that interface between like the human curation and the technology to like just make things more fast and easy to do and effective. And that's kind of where we landed in terms of like the sweet spot of like using algorithms versus manual work, is like, how do we condense the amount of work as much as possible, but like highlight the human faculties of like figuring out what is relevant here to other people.
So you guys found the Goldilocks zone, right? The Goldilocks zone is not the algorithm, is not manually, but it has a Goldilocks zone there, where the human factor is weighted, right? Really interesting, man. And I would say that this would be the sense-making algorithm, right? Trove generates a type of sense-making algorithm, isn't it?
So I mean, when I do the curation and the highlight, I actually discovered in the end that I had a very specific algorithm, and it was developed over years of doing research and I always have a super specific goal in mind of things that I want to have happen. And so I realized that I was just subconsciously doing this, but it's different to have like a group algorithm of there's so in terms of like curating these little videos that I did, these rap videos, there's one thing if I'm doing it, when I do it, I believe that there is a narrative, like it fits together, and if you watch them in a series, I think they fit together in a certain way because I'm thinking in a very specific narrative. But I found that when someone else did the curation that wasn't me, all of a sudden it was very jarring to me because it was a totally different algorithm that was different. So the discussion in collective intelligence, like what we're trying to figure out is how do you create a group memory? Does that even exist? Is that a thing? We don't really actually know if it's a thing, or is it just a question of being able to see and track someone else's narrative that they're getting from the conversation? So that might be even more valuable than having like a kind of false group narrative. Being able to see, like from Vinicius's point of view, what is he getting out of these conversations? Like what is the meme that's developing in his head, and how is that different than TV's? Because I can't really see that right now. I can just see the conversations from my point of view.
Lauren, this is a great commentary, really great. And you see, I think that we are in the infancy of collective intelligence, to understand collective intelligence, and we're still making the baby steps. We're starting to have some tools like Trove, but we still don't have the tooling to make this affordable, to make this readable, to make this with more clarity. But you see, the subjective part of it, what you're calling my way, my perspective of how I'm creating, right? That event, or the content resulting of that event. This is very interesting, because if I can map my perspective, map your perspective, Lauren, map Vicent's perspective, Atus, Tiberius, Guilherme's perspective, we must have some type of meta curation, let's say, some type of intersectional way to view what we're not viewing, right? What could be the main desire that bound us, right? Bound us in this event, bound us to make what we're doing with reimagining wealth, for instance. And that would be very powerful because if we can identify the main drivers, the source, and the main drivers that drive us to do what we're doing. Because you see, we're always with this impression that we're doing something that I think that you're doing, Lauding, and you think that I'm doing, right? So, but we certainly have different perspectives. We certainly, it can be subtle or it can be really apart, but we don't know, right? This is undiscoverable let's say, collective intelligence space. We don't have a clue about it. And Vincent, I think that the type of platform tooling that you're offering will certainly with Lauding work, as I now recognize that there's a lot of Lauding there, and her work that she has been doing for years in research about collective intelligence. Yeah, certainly. Is going to enable us to do something very meaningful, not only in the Gitcoin space, but everywhere. Whatever we're going to do as a meta-organism, we're going to have the ability to extract. I don't know if the word extract is good, right? We have the ability to view or to unleash or to unpack and to understand what is moving us towards, right, ahead. What is making us more interesting and making us to materialize things. So just a commentary, Lauding, because you highlighted something that is very important when you're talking about collective intelligence, and something that not everybody is aware of it, right? So you see, translating this, for instance, Guilherme and Atos, for the community encounters that Utopia is starting to do, this camp, we're starting to do, Lauding, a digital campfire. Imagine how you make the folks that goes to the digital campfire not audience, right? He's not an audience. He's not there only to hear someone to speak. He's here to give his opinion, as we've done it in the first campfire, but we can track his perspective with others' perspectives. And so he feels that he has agency during the campfire, the digital campfire event, right? And feeling and having agency, Vincent, from me, is something that we lost with the Web 2.0, right? Because we all became both broadcasters or became audience, right? Or you're a broadcaster or you're audience. Where is the in-between phenomenon, right? Where is the in-between phenomenon? So I think that we're, with this tooling, with Trove, we can really explore this in a very meaningful way. That's my take, man. That's my 2 cents.
I would like to add here that this algorithm that is there a community algorithm? I think the nature of that, I think it exists, and I think the nature of that is like, you know, as much as culture exists, there could be a sort of community-based algorithm that is a detailed one, but it's the essence that is shared across a group, that develops some thinking patterns, shared thinking patterns, and that's social intelligence, right? It's social because there is something that is shared as views or patterns, and that's the same nature as a culture. You say, what is a culture? You know, well, this is something shared. It's something shared. If I go to a new country, I don't have that culture. I need time to absorb it, so that I internalize some of the patterns that people share. So I think it exists, but it's not. Yeah, it's tricky to pin it down.
So, Laurie suggests that we do some work for the Reimagining Wealth Initiative. What?
Well, can we see the maps? Can we see the maps?
Yeah, let's see the maps.
What maps?
We were about to see some maps, and I suppose there are conceptual maps extracted from the translations from other on Trove.
It's not. It was about
I think
Kiko Lab's work.
Oh,
right?
I know. I think I know. Okay, yeah. It was going to be about Lauren. I think this is what you were talking about. Just some of
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
yeah. So like having we were talking about like the hub and node analogy and like the network map, and so it's kind of how have been thinking about like how to not have network maps that are giant hairballs. And so adding in this other layer of like kind of concentric circles of different types of information. So for example, there are these like main networks like STEM, technology, culture and society, cooperative economics, and then attached to those networks are different groups or like nodes, right? So like these are different node types. They're all nodes, but they're just different node types. This one is type network, and then this one is type like community group, for example. So yeah, that's one example of like how we're adding a little bit of structure to the kind of graph database type visualization, which a lot of times are very messy and just kind of really difficult to actually like gain insights from looking at.
But these are also manually produced, right?
That one was manually produced, but it has a sort of like template associated with it, which could be automatically like updated or added to based off of certain logic.
Hi, Grandma Josette.
How are you?
We just saw you behind Vincenzo.
You don't even know what I did.
What did you do?
Oh, no, I'm lying.
She did this. Hey, she did this.
Vinicius?
Good, you're
Did she
good.
say anything to you?
No,
Vinicius, if you want to do anything with MetaMask, it should be now, or else we won't make any progress on that.
Yeah, okay. So, Atus, let's go, man. It's up to you and me and everybody here now. Let's go.
Hey, so I'm going to share my screen with you, and then we can start to use the MetaMask. Okay, first thing first, MetaMask is a extension, a browser extension. So we must download it, and we can go in extension options in every browser, Google Chrome, in this case, Firefox. And here we can search. In this case, I already installed it, so I had save bandwidth here. Okay, MetaMask. Okay,
Atus, before you go down to the MetaMask hole, right? Rabbit hole. It's important when you folks download the MetaMask, right? They have a very good UX experience, so you won't have difficulty to do what they're asking. but you're going to have to note down. I think it's on 12 words. The sentence I think is a 12-word sentence, right? It's interesting for you to put this in paper and pencil, and not only doing this only on your computer, on your cell phone or your smartphone or your notes. It's very important for you to note this down on paper and pencil, right? So
You
this
do
is
not want to lose that.
yeah, you do not want to lose that. That's it.
Important number one
Yeah. Yes.
lesson from crypto. You don't want to lose the seed phrase.
Yeah, don't.
Do we,
Yeah, I was going to
everybody
say
knows the
seed
seed
phrase. Yeah, seed phrase.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. You won't want to lose
You guys
that.
all know what it's for then, right? The seed phrase?
What?
You can use the seed phrase or the wallet. So if you only
Yeah,
have one of them, you have
the seed. You only use the seed phrase to retrieve when you don't remember your password for your account in any wallets. You use the seed phrase to retrieve the wallet, retrieve access to it, because
Or if you
you're the only person on the planet that can do this, because only you know the seed phrase, right? So say it, TB.
I
You're
think
going
you
to
can
say
replace your
something.
wallet too.
I'll try to edit again and start from the beginning, generating a new wallet and etc. I think it's here. Okay. Do you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we're seeing
Yeah.
and we're hearing you. Yeah.
Okay, this is the first screen, and here we have to set a password here. It's just how am I supposed to say? Is the password for our access the MetaMask in this browser. So it's not our seed phrase. Let me test. Okay. Let me restore. Try to create another wallet. Because here I already have this one. Sorry guys, I can't find where I can disconnect this wallet. Okay. Great. I can find where I can disconnect my wallet. Yes. I can disconnect it. Yeah. Sorry for that. I think we must go on. I think it's better if we just move on. Let me try in the Edge. I think I've never installed MetaMask on the Microsoft Edge browser. I'll try this one. Extension. Yeah, I don't have MetaMask in this one.
Who here doesn't have MetaMask?
What? Sorry?
Is there anyone here who doesn't have MetaMask?
I never installed it. I already had other wallets, but I can try it now.
I'm setting mine up right now.
You don't have it, Vincent?
No, not yet.
Oh, great. Okay.
That Guilherme doesn't have it too. I might be wrong.
I think we'll watch the video to see what it does first, because Sarah and I got a like multiplicity of different wallets, and we get them mixed up and stuff, right?
Okay, now I just added to my Okay, now we start. We can import our wallets if we have our seed phrase, create one. In this case, I'm simulating a new wallet, create a new wallet. And then he warns us, okay, we will generate a seed phrase for you, don't, because he just create the wallet and then he asks us to inform the seed phrase. So okay, now I have to set the MetaMask password. Just put a test here. Agree with the terms. Test it.
So let me make the basic question here, Atus, for everyone to be clear for everyone. You can import from another browser your account in another browser to this browser, or is the case too that you can import because you only can have this is a basic question. You can have in the same browser different types of wallets, or you only have two different types of wallets in different browsers. That's because you see, MetaMask is, as you said, is an extension wallet, right, for browsers. So I'm guessing here that you could have a browser for Brave, a MetaMask extension in Brave, a MetaMask extension in Firefox, even in Chrome.
Yeah, exactly. For instance, I have MetaMask in everyone. I just installed it in Edge. But if I want, I can use the same wallet. If I import this passphrase, I can use the same wallets in different browsers. But in my case, I have different MetaMasks, different wallets for different browsers, just for testing, you know, to transfer from one to another. But yeah, we can have a lot of wallets.
You can have the same wallet in all the browsers, or you can have different wallets in all the browsers, right?
Right.
So that's a basic question that nobody asks. So I'm just asking because most of the folks that I know, they think that if you open a MetaMask wallet extension on Firefox, that's your MetaMask wallet, right? You only have to use Firefox for that, but no, you can do it in a lot of browsers. That's the.
But
I don't know. Yeah, go on, Chibi.
There's even more than that, because when we use MetaMask to have a wallet, the wallet is on the blockchain. It's created on the blockchain. So MetaMask is an app that connects to the blockchain. So you can use another app. You can use Trust, for example, which is also an app wallet, to access the same wallet that you created with MetaMask. So you can go from one browser to another using one app wallet like MetaMask, but you can also go from one type of wallet app to another type of wallet app and still look at the same wallet on the blockchain. So, you know what I'm saying? So what's fundamental here is that you have a wallet on the Ethereum blockchain, for example, or on Bitcoin blockchain. Your wallet doesn't exist in your app. Your wallet exists in the blockchain. Okay, so you can scrap the app, you can change the app, and you'll use the same 12-word phrase to access your account on the blockchain, because this is your keys are generated from this phrase, right?
Yeah. In this case, now you all can access the same wallet that I just created, because you all seen this phrase, you know.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So it would be like a community shared wallet, let's say.
Yeah,
that's a good example. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not a multi-signature. So it's a type of wallet. It's like a bucket in the middle.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I'll say yes. What just Tiberius just said, it works. You can use the same wallet on Trust on your cell phone or even on MetaMask or browsers. But I would add, talking about MetaMask, if you add the same wallet to different browsers, you need to import the tokens you have on the pre-existing ones because they don't import themselves. You have to redo it again. So if you like have 20 tokens on your wallet, you have to re-import. I mean, to allow these tokens to be shown in this specific browser.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm gonna do here. Well, one important thing that we can associate. You know, every one of us just already used to banks, and imagine this. We have the different chains, mainnet, testnet from Ropsten, Coven, Rickaby. We can imagine this like different institutions, different banks, because this one we can access different webs. It's not web in this case. In this case, it's blockchains. Different blockchains we can access here. So that means we have the same identification to sign in different blockchains. It's not like the banking system. We have one banking account in every one of bankings. You know, in this case, we have our own identification, which is this address here. This hexadecimal 64 characters, and this is my address. And this address is it's on the blockchain.
Yeah.
Either we can have this.
Atus,
Okay.
Vincent
Now it's for the world.
Vincent has a question. Vincent, please, man.
Thank you. Yeah. So that top bar rated to testis, that's a network?
Yeah, it's different networks. Exactly.
Okay. And so when you click mainnet, like if you go to the Ethereum mainnet, does anything with your account or your wallet change? Like, do you have a different address in different networks?
Yes.
Or...
Yes, we can have different address in different networks. I'm going to show you here. I created a token on the, I think it was in Ropsten. In Ropsten, I created the OS. It's our token on Utopia. So I created a test on the test net to start to trading and let me find the address. So when we import a token, we have to find the token address. It's like where is this register? You know, when you create a token, if you create anything, we have to register this in some place. In this case, I registered in the testnet Ropsten. Here's this one. So I have to inform where in the testnet Ropsten is this token. So I have to find this address. When I create a token, he informed me what is the token address. But I'm trying to here. That's my token address. I will share with you this token address because you can also import OS tokens in your MetaMask if you want. So if you just put this address, he recognizes, oh, okay, in this address, there's OS created on Ropsten network. But if I do the same thing in other chain, it won't be recognized. It registered in this network. So that's it. Now my wallet's it's recognizing loss. If I transfer from wallet to another, that's it. It's ready. So, any questions? I think it's a very scratching surface here, but I think we're better with this when we use it, you know.
Yeah,
But
what we learned together today here, but of course we can make a more technical deep dive if it's the case, Vincent, because Atos has the technical knowledge for that. But in the surface, what we're learning here together is that you can have the same MetaMask account in any browser that you use, or you can have different wallet accounts in any browser that you use. And what Tiberius said is right. MetaMask is just an application, it's just an app that runs in the blockchain sphere, right? So you're accessing the blockchain, you're accessing the Ethereum blockchain, you're accessing the Bitcoin blockchain and things like that. And one thing that Tiberius said that is very, very, very important for us when we go to Gitcoin is we have to have a common have a collective or a common address, right? For us that anyone can access. We'll have the seed phrase or things like that, but it's not a multi-sig account. So it would be nice, TB, if you want, or even Atos, to difference what is a multi-sig account for what you just suggested for us to do together as this collective that we're going to be in the Gitcoin space.
Yeah, I never played yet with multi-sig accounts, and I think we should play with some. But the difference is that it's you have the equivalent in the banking system. When you want to make a transaction, you need multiple signatures. Otherwise, the transaction is not initiated. So we can have the choice of having a bucket in the middle of us, so everybody can put their hand in or drop something in the bucket, and if they decide to do it, they can do it. Or a multi-sig account where they need the approval of somebody else. Okay, somebody should acknowledge at least and approve the action. Okay, so this is adding a little more oversight to transactions, because the bucket thing is that, you know, as somebody, an opportunistic mind, can wait for everybody to turn their head and then they put their hands in the bucket, you know. But if you have a multi-sig account, means that your action depends on somebody's witnessing it and approving it. So you can still have some collusion, you know. You have some, you know, but anyway, any transaction is transparent, so people see that money has been withdrawn from that to some other wallet.
And it would be nice to understand if for the Gitcoin space this could be an issue, right, TB? Because they're very concerned about collusions, they're very concerned about cyber attacks. I don't know if that would be an issue for them. I don't think so. But you see, what we're doing here is to create a trustworthy environment, right, between our different endeavors. So
yeah, that's a good thing. I don't know the mechanics. We'd have to think about how we could implement something like that. So let's say we have a common Gitcoin account. How do we make that money flow out of there? You know, that's an interesting question. There are ways to do it. You know, you can write a smart contract that has, you know, uses some requirements for it to be executed, and you know, you can program a smart contract as you wish. I don't know how to program smart contracts, but I know, you know, some people.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good idea. And Atos has the knowledge, and he said would actually would be interesting to learn about it. I think so. But the thing is that I had experienced the last match funding, 11th match funding round of Gitcoin. I was there as Taudao, as you guys know, and now we are doing the withdrawing of 5 different blockchains, 5 different tokens of 5 different blockchains. Man, it's a lot of work to do. And we didn't found a smooth solution to withdraw from these 5 types of crypto tokens, from 5 types of blockchain, to the main ones, right? Like Ether, like Bitcoin. We're finding now we have to do one by one. So it gives a lot of work to do this. I don't know if the guys over Gitcoin space, they already resolved this. I think they must do. Of course, they're more ahead of us because they're already doing this. But I didn't have the time, you see, Atos, to explore that, to see if there's a type of API there in the Gitcoin space that facilitates the exchange from all sorts of cryptos to the main cryptos, let's say, for us to make the exchange for fiat money. Let's put it this way. We don't have the roadmap or the critical steps to do this already in place of CTB.
Yeah, but it's still designed with centralization in mind, because when you do these transactions, you play the role of the custodian. Okay, in the Sensorica language, custodian is an entrusted organization or individual to execute something, to do something, or to hold something. So you're essentially saying, okay, guys, I have the keys, I have the wallets, I'll do the transaction, and I'll send every one of you your portion. Okay, and people have to trust you, and in that case, you are centralized. You know what I'm saying? You are the crux of the network, right?
I got you, Chili, but that's not the case in Gitcoin space. The thing is that they work with a lot of different types of cryptos and blockchains, and not all the blockchains and cryptos has this interchangeable swapping aspect to do.
Oh no, I understand. I understand that. I was more mentioning the action of withdrawing the funds and distributing it to different groups or different individuals. That action has to be done by one individual, right? Or by the individual that has. What I'm trying to say is that there is one security.
Yeah, I got it. This is a novelty. This is a novelty. This is something that actually the guys over Gitcoin didn't think about it yet. But they have that in the horizon, right? They're very concerned about now their DAO. I don't know if you actually know. I don't know if you have you been attending for the meetings in the kernel space in Gitcoin space? They were talking about that some while ago.
No, I want to. Vincent, are you in kernel?
No, I'm not. I'm in the design science studio, this cohort, the Buckminster Fuller program, but not the kernel program. I didn't get into kernel.
Oh, cool. Okay. No, I'm not in. I haven't been keeping up with kernel or anything right now.
Yeah, but I think we have a very good opportunity here, Chibi, to create something really meaningful, not only for our endeavors in the Gitcoin space, but for everything that we want to enhance, right? The project that we want to enhance, we want to materialize as open source or regenerative and things like that. So all the questions that all the things that we're talking here about is very relevant. So what you think, Atus? Would it be the case? I don't know if we start organic first. I think that we can start it in a very trustworthy organic way, but we can develop some algorithm. We can develop some smart contract to make this happen in a very more decentralized and very, let's say, automatized way, not needing to be centralized in one people to do this, right? Manually, let's say.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. we just have to talk about the rules. What kind of rules we must to transform to put on this smart contract.
Yeah, of course we're not going. We're
Mhm.
not going to do this today because we're already on the top of the hour.
No.
Yeah, but say TD, go on, man.
Well, I can imagine one way of doing it, which is to say we have an agreement based on everybody's input in an initiative that there is a way to split the amount that is generated through crowdfunding. So it's in Sensorica's language, you call that benefit redistribution algorithm, which is that we agree in advance how to distribute something based on everyone's contribution. That's how we work, right? That's how we operate. But once you have that recipe for distribution based on the algorithm, then the process could be automated. So you don't need a gatekeeper or a human being to go to that account and then manually distribute the portions to everybody based on their involvement or contribution or whatever agreement is. It could be done automatically. Say you set up a trigger, a threshold. As soon as we get $1,000, boom, it just gets the smart contract executes and it just distributes everything into everybody's wallet. So in that way, you make it more peer-to-peer, more decentralized, because you don't rely on a central authority. You don't have to trust an individual to to do the distribution. It's done. It's just automatically based on a pre-agreement, right? which could be fed by some mechanism of capturing contributions. It's like the NRP of Sensorica. People do work and then they log their contribution and it gets in a ledger, and then you have a benefit redistribution algorithm that feeds on that contribution data, real-time contribution data. And at any moment in time, you can do a distribution.
Yeah, at CTB, we could do that. We could use the Sensorica framework as a background for us to
Yeah,
develop
we
these
don't have to.
rules.
I'm just
No,
talking about what I
no.
know.
Let just me say this. Or
Mhm.
we can, because Utopia has its own, Taudal has its
Yeah.
own, right?
Yeah.
Trove has its own.
Mhm.
Everybody, Manufacturetron has its own. So everybody has its own way to deal with this, right? So you're going to have to find a common ground to wrote these rules for the smart contract, isn't it,
Yeah.
Alphonse?
Exactly. We must know at least the percentage. How much is going to the community. We discussed about that 5% yesterday. TV. I really like that
Exactly.
idea.
Yes.
I don't remember how you call that idea, but I like this.
Yeah. Well, so when you decide to partition or to distribute the funds from a crowdfunding campaign, let's say, you can allocate some funds for the work to be done, but you can also allocate some funds to communities in general, just for infrastructure development, maintenance, to pay their bills. That has nothing to do with that particular project. It's just sustaining the network or sustaining the entire ecosystem. It's like a tax, right? Oh, we take a 5% tax goes to the community. It'll be people to pay the bills and pay their internet connections. So you can, it's the sky is the limit. You're just bounded by the imagination, right? By our imagination. But I don't know if Gitcoin allows the implementation of such a smart contract for distribution. I don't know. I don't know if it's compatible with Gitcoin. We should probably
Yes,
figure
we
that out.
can. Gitcoin works with a lot of wallets. We can connect MetaMask, Polkadot. In this case, I think Polkadot is a good a place to connect. We can connect a wallet to the smart contract and make a split from that.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
Can it read the data from the? Sorry,
Yeah, go on, Anthony.
Athos is the smart contract with Polkadot capable of reading the data from the contribution accounting system within Sensorica?
Read what kind of data you mean?
The data on hours logged by different people, because we log our hours for how much we've contributed and when, and then we're supposed to get paid based on that.
Good question, but as the blockchain concept, yes, it's a public ledger, so we must see the balances and all the transfer in this ledger, but we only see the address, the wallet address. We can see anyone's names.
Yeah, but I guess the question is, in Sensorica we use an application called NRP, Network Resource Planning, which is a sort of a ERP, like companies use enterprise resource planning. So this is where we create tasks, tasks, and people log their contributions to projects. So we have a ledger of economic activity, okay, which is not blockchain. It's just a centralized database. It sits on a server, but it has a UI, which sucks. But anyway, so we put data into that, and this is our this is our repository to know who's doing what, right? Because when we have a budget, we'll say we have this money allocated for that task and that money for that task, and whoever does the task, they are entitled to get this money. And so this is where we get our data from, okay? Because we put it in the system as we contribute, the data is there. Now, I imagine that you could, I don't know how this data could be extracted through an API and fed into a smart contract. That technical thing, I don't know. Because then essentially what you get from the NRP is a pie chart. It's a real-time pie chart. We say, if today we had to distribute $100, how would you do it based on what people contributed since the last distribution?
So it has to be machine readable. You need, like you said, you call it an API, but
well, it's pretty simple because you're just exporting a pie chart, okay? Just to say, well, if today you need to do a redistribution, you would give, I don't know, 10% to that guy, 20%. So that pie chart, then you have to load a pie chart into a smart contract. You know, the smart contract has to have like a variable, which is the pie chart, which allows it after to partition the whole amount. You know, I don't know how smart contracts can interface with some other web app, you know.
Yeah, it's possible, and it's pretty easy.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you can, yeah. So maybe one day we can go through that too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, guys,
Okay.
and there's another crucial point that are the gas value in the Ethereum network that is really skyrocketing, is really high.
Yeah.
And this is a really huge thing because as we're speaking here, we just withdraw. Remember what I told you guys? 5 different tokens, right?
Yeah.
We put it in Ethereum, and now we've withdrawn to reais, and it costs $120 to do this. So it's really high.
For how much?
For
how much?
Was $737. So.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really high. Yeah, I'm just speaking with the
what blockchain?
Yeah.
Ethereum layer 1?
Yeah, we transfer from 5 types of different blockchains, cryptos, that are gravitating inside the Gitcoin space or even outside to the Ethereum blockchain. And then from the Ethereum blockchain, we exchange for reais, for fiat money, for reais, and in this exchange, it was we were charged with the gas, total gas, $120. So
Yeah.
this is a bottleneck.
But that's temporary because
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
There's a layer
but Ethereum
two.
is moving to proof of stake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, man. I know. But we have to see if we can come up with a creative solution, Atus.
Yeah.
Because we don't have it yet at hand, right? So
I thought they already launched a second layer. I saw a news article about launching a second layer for
yeah,
Ethereum.
they're working on the second layer. The X
Oh.
die, the dice are related to the second layer, but actually you have difficulty to do this exchange without having this type of gas, right? This type of rate of gas to do that.
Yeah, but this taxes, it's an issue to we have to keep discussing it. You know, it's a world discussion. But we already have some solutions using Ethereum layer 2. In the practice is using Polygon network. Or we can use the Cosmos, the interchain. They have a really great protocol that communicates with all the blockchains, and could be an option for us, a good one. I have to do a lot of a few research more about it, but I already know this is possible and pretty real. It's already here.
Oh, great, Atus. Lauren, I think that we can do to the wrap up parts of our work party today. Would you like to start?
Can everyone show themselves for just a minute? Okay, Smile, I'm just gonna take a picture for the thing. TV, you there?
Yes, I was making coffee.
That's fine.
Okay, Smile. Oh, you have to smile for like 20 seconds here. I'm gonna take, okay, right now. All right, got it. We have let's see. I don't know if you can access this link. Can you get there?
Yes.
Yes.
Vincent, were your questions that you put on the chat answered by Atus? I don't remember.
No, but that's okay. And I'm gonna put them into the notes so that way they'll kind of be here next time we meet. I know I probably run in like 10 minutes, so it's okay if we don't get to all of them. I just put them in the chat. But I will share here. This is kind of like during the event. I added, so some notes like MetaMask and main networks, each and it exists on browsers. I'll put my like questions. And then also we could add like tags or topics like right now that describe the event. I can add like MetaMask as a topic. I could add organizational memory. Are there any other ones you suggest?
Trove.
As a project, and then I'm also going to add poll links. I'm going to add MetaMask. I might want to go back to that at some point. And then we could also add a like a description of this event while it's fresh, or we could always go back and do this later. But so what I would like do is like in this like long event summary, we could you could add like videos, images, but maybe just having like a 1 or 2 sentence description of like what we did today. That way, kind of for people to go back to the event later. We started doing that post in the spreadsheet, I believe, wherein I saw, actually, 1 sentence. Lauren, we might have to go back. It looks, 1 sentence summary. Here it is. Yeah, so like wealth transformation is life capital, circular economy is not circular at all. Yeah, I think being able to like kind of capture that like summary while it's fresh is really nice. So wondering if anyone wants to give a stab at that.
TB is really good at this.
But we can't edit at the same time, right?
I can take on the role of note taker right now while we discuss.
Because you gave us that link, Lauren, but can everybody put it in there at the same time now, eh?
I actually would love to try it. It's all the boxes are like auto binding. So like if you make a change, it like updates after click off of the box. But I haven't actually like tried with multiple people trying to edit at the same time, see like how that updates in real time.
Yeah, how it manages collusions.
Right, exactly.
Maybe one overwrites the other one. I don't know.
Does anyone want to try typing in this like long event summary? See on the event details and then long event summary.
You have to be logged, or you don't need to be logged.
I believe to edit the event, you have to be logged in.
Okay.
View the event, you don't. But we could also test this later if you guys want to run by the like the bottom of the hour.
I don't know where. I can't find the text box to edit, so you're gonna have to do it without me.
I can write something here. Description. But I like the process. So at the end of the meeting, while it's fresh in our memory, we just go and add these tags and add this meta or information about the event. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can make it. But it would be nice if it would be collaborative. So people could. Hey, here's another thing. Well, people taking notes and dropping ideas. Well, we can always write in the comments, and you save the Zoom. You have your comments, right?
Yeah, so Lauren and I talked about this yesterday, like everyone having their own version of notes. And I was saying like, right, having like one version of notes to start is like most of the people been, I've observed having like group calls, there's typically like 1 or 2 people that like take really good notes versus like everyone in this call. Does everyone here have their own version of notes that they would want to enter into a box? So like, feel like having starting out with like just one, I feel like even as a design decision, it's kind of helpful because I feel like the quality of notes typically like more free-form types of meetings that are not around like a company or like a business typically are more like distributed. So like it wouldn't be hard to have each person have their own notes editor. But I've been trying to almost encourage groups to just take at least one like paragraph of succinct collect, or to be able to add their notes into the collaborative notes. So this is something like I added my notes here, but if anyone wants to go to the during event at any point in time, they can go in and add their notes here. And then if you go back to the event page, I'll show you guys kind of like how that shows up. Nice, Lauren. So yeah, it has like topics discussed. There's the check-in map, and then notes are here that I started working on, and then the different topics like MetaMask, organizational memory. There's a link to the project Trove. There's a link to the MetaMask FAQ, and you could like go in and like tag these links. Like if there were like 100 of them, you could like say like, okay, this is a product website. I could like add my own description or like edit this if I wanted to. And then basically anyone could go in and just add more links right here to the event page too. This is all like without logging in. And then thing is like if somebody goes to the Trove project, because we like talked about Trove during this event and this event will like show up as a link on the project page. So now underneath, oh, I actually think I have it turned off. I'll show you guys next week. I need to turn it on. Oh, actually, no, here it is. Upcoming events. And so this has like the upcoming events, but also if there's no upcoming events, the past events that this like project was tagged in. So you can like see all the past presentations that Trove has done in different groups.
Also, guys, I just put the tags regeneration and innovation, sustainability. I just kind of pulled those out of thin air. Maybe you want to develop those further, or you don't agree. Just, you know, you can edit those as you wish. And I would love to hear people's thoughts who haven't spoken as much this time about what they took from the conversation, especially like Guillermo and Anthony. We haven't heard from you at all.
Can I say something about the MetaMask? Our MetaMask and Gitcoin. I thought we were. I was hoping we were gonna make one of the pieces of the collections on Gitcoin, like one of the grant applications. Are you going to do that? Is somebody planning on making a grant application at some point? We could make for Greens for Good. TB, going to do that at some point?
Yes, that's the plan. Yes, Unai works on that. I mean, he works on that. He he spearheaded this the document, so he took initiative. So we can rally behind his initiative.
Okay.
So this document for that, yeah, and. Spoke with Atus and yesterday about it at length, having this Gitcoin Green for Good as a sort of a sandbox for us to get used to, you know, get the things going, you know what I'm saying, implement the mechanics. And so we have a clear case. We have a clear case with a project that can attract some funding, and maybe we go with that as a first run, you know what I'm saying? So I think the distraction behind that, yes.
Yeah, just one thing that is important to clarify here, Anthony and TB. TauDAO is already in the Gitcoin space. Utopia is already in the Gitcoin space, and we're going. What Anthony just said is we're going to do a collection, of course, a collection in the Gitcoin space with TauDAO, with Sensorica, with the smart NEI thing that Unai is part of, and we're going to have a footprint in the Gitcoin space and with Trove, okay, Vincent, in the Gitcoin space as a regenerative proposal, right? A peer-to-peer regenerative proposal. That's the idea. In this sense, the same strategies that we're going to use, as Lauren put it some touchdowns ago, how we can have the best performance, let's say, in the match funding rounds on the Gitcoin space, is having a lot of people in the Sensorica grant, in the Taudal grant, in the Utopia grant, so we can have a good presence, not only individually, let's say for each grant, but as a collective. So this is a very important thing to say, okay? And that's the way that we're going to have the capability to have a good performance in the matching funding round that is coming now in November. The only thing that I have to add, Chili, for this.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know if the people looking at the collection are going to appreciate having a sort of a random selection of projects lumped together. I don't know what the purpose of the collections are. I thought it was supposed to help you find similar projects, right?
They're not made by the platform. They're made by the folks, the people. It's not the platform that puts it as a collection. They're actually you or any of us here can make this collection there. So and the collection gives more visibility for the projects that are in the collection, right?
Yeah, I'm also not clear with these features of Gitcoin, but I suppose that the idea here is to still show strength in a sort of a network of networks, and then you have these very specific projects that you crowdfund that have their own particular or unique goals, you know.
Okay.
So you can have Greens for Good, you can have some Utopia specific product, but then what we show is that, you know, somehow, or I suppose somehow, you know, Greens for Good is not just a Sensorica project. Is a project that spreads across different networks. So it shows like that strength of collaboration, you know, across networks, I guess.
Can I say something? I think to wrap. My last thing I want to say on this whole subject. We have a situation here where the Gitcoin can collect funding, a little bit like Kickstarter, but it's only charity right now. Like the people who give money don't get anything in return for it. We also have the NRP cast system where people can log their hours and get some stuff done on some projects, but how they get paid and when is still kind of doubtful, and it's in its infancy anyway. But so as these things progress, we'll get to a situation where enthusiasm can be translated into actual results a little bit, but we have a long chain here. We collect the time contributions or labor or or money in the form of currencies, and then we have to organize ourselves and get labor done, record the labor hours, and then actually pay people, right? So we have a fairly long chain of things that need to be done before enthusiasm becomes actual results, like a centrifuge for Greens for Good or whatever project you're working on. But I think smart contracts are going to play a very interesting role in this one. We can get that done, or we can get I think I'm going to look around for existing projects on that subject, because this process of turning enthusiasm into actual results is a kind of a long process, and each of these systems is only addressing one of the stages. If we can put them all together, then we can really light the fire, get some really interesting stuff happening, I think. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, maybe I should work with Atus a little bit, because he has some knowledge. Maybe Atus, whenever you have time, we could probably sit down and try to roadmap this, or, you know, understand how we can chain these things together. Because there's something that you might know about Sensorica and the NRP, so I can walk you through. There are other tools that allow people to record contributions to project, or, you know, task management tools. There are other things like that have API, so we can wrap our head around these things and see how we can connect them with the smart contract. I have no clue, so if we can get a session of working together, me and you, one day, I guess we could at least map, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the other people are interested in this, because it's like hours. So we'll take it offline, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk it better in the next encounter, next thing.
I still don't see a description for or notes for this event?
I don't know, Vincent.
Does anyone want to take a stab at like a one sentence summary?
One sentence, okay.
Or
Not me. I was only here for the last 2/3. Vincent, what's your one sentence summary? If you had to put it all into one sentence, what would it be? I don't think you can really do justice to a 2-hour conversation in one sentence. We talked about quite different.
How might we better preserve organizational memory? And the second half of what we talked about, which is more or less a different topic.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And how might we also see, the thing is, I don't really understand the whole big picture vision of MetaMask, so maybe somebody else could summarize the second half.
I think MetaMask is just another wallet. It's just a convenient wallet to use. How do we use MetaMask with Gitcoin?
Actually, I'm not sure. I have to check it. But if I remember well, we cannot use MetaMask with Bitcoin. We must have a Polkadot or other. There's other options, but if let me see again.
In the
If I
past,
remember well,
contributed to Gitcoin grants with MetaMask. That might have changed.
Okay.
but
You can probably contribute with anything, but you have to withdraw it with a certain. Well, doesn't Gitcoin just send the right coins to the right address when they're
yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can connect with MetaMask, Wallet Connect, Fortmatic, Portis, and Alterio.
done? Why do they have to connect anything? Don't they just send the right coins to the right address? The whole
Yes.
fundraising is done. So why does it matter what wallet you're using? As long as you're on the blockchain, right?
Sorry, I don't think I understand your question.
No, we'll talk about it later, some other time.
So Vincent, just to give you a little background, from my perspective, why I'm in this conversation about Gitcoin and MetaMask is my interest is creating a larger ecosystem, not based on using all one technology like IPFS or Holochain, but an ecosystem that actually can do stuff and swarm where there is an opportunity. And what I would like to see is starting this small with people, maybe even 20 people being able to move, across groups to donate to each other. We can start with very small amounts of money, but multiply that money and then prove that we had this much amount of money. Say we start with like just $500, but if we can show as a network that we can systematically multiply that amount of money, that is very valuable in order to get more money.
Are we trying to do this through Gitcoin?
That's why I'm here.
A more general subject? Because I'm not sure if Gitcoin is going to be very good for that. It's more like it's not an investor platform, really.
What?
It's not an investment platform. I mean, there's a lot of really great cryptocurrency projects that they'll pay dividends and stuff like that. Like you.
No, that's not what we want to do. It's just that Gitcoin has a mechanism where if you can effectively swarm as a community, then you can multiply the amount that you raise.
Yeah,
if you can get your shit together and organize a swarm.
Yeah, and it's important to understand, Anthony, that the guys over Gitcoin, all the thousands of people there, not only devs, they're not making charity. They understand that they're giving life for the Web 3.0, right? For the culture of DAOs. So they understand that this is the thing that has to have complexity, has to have people, has to have projects, endeavors. So it's not a conventional investment dynamics there. So If we are heading to Web 3.0, we are heading as DAOs. We're prototyping DAOs. That's interesting for the guys, all the people that are in the Gitcoin space. So it's very different, a different approach from the conventional investment or grant that we're used to, right? It's a very conventional take. It's a very different take. It's not the same.
But it's still an open loop, right? You see what I'm saying about open loop? Like somebody gives $100 and what they get for it is not clear. It's a contribution to the commons. They get something eventually for it, hopefully, if the project works out. But it's a very long gap
because
at the end
it's
in the giving and the getting.
Yeah, they're not giving, they're investing in the sense that they want to see this environment related to Web 3.0, related to DAOs, to gain traction, to be in the world, to become reality. So it's different, man. It's not the same. I know what you're talking about.
But it's like pushing on string. You know, have you ever heard the expression pushing on string?
Yeah,
the idea is that you have a piece of string and you're trying to push on it to push on whatever's on the end of the string, but it doesn't work very well because the harder you push, the shorter it gets, right? It's kind of a similar idea. You want people to develop Web 3.0 projects, so they put their proposals up and then you give them money, but then what? Where's the accountability? There's no way of making sure that you actually got something for it. People could just take the money and walk. No, and then they don't get more money in the future probably because they get a bad reputation. So there is some accountability, but it's not very much. That's what I'm saying. It's just not very much.
You see, I would agree with you if in the third or fourth round the thing didn't scale up, having ever more projects, ever more resources being shared with the Gitcoin rounds, the match funding Gitcoin rounds. So, but that is not what is happening. It's really happening, and today the Gitcoin space is very complex. It doesn't have only the Gitcoin rounds. It has the hackathons, has the bounties, it has other projects, even the decentralized exchanges. They are there putting a lot of resources to develop all the Web3 environment and the DAOs. So I'm not defending nothing here, Anthony, but I like your questioning because it's razor sharp. But we're really doing something really interesting because it's aligned with what our proposal here, right? It's very aligned. It's very difficult to find. You can ask that for Tibi. It's very difficult to find impact funders or impact funding ventures that has a different mindset that isn't the conventional way to make investments, right?
Because they want money, right? They want to get their money back and then some.
Yeah, but the money back thing related to Gitcoin is to see the projects being made. Okay. The things happening. That's the ROI. That's it. That's the return on investment, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so my concern is like right now, if someone in our network has an opportunity, there's no mechanism right now for us to be like, hey guys, let's all swarm on this, even though, it's only $5 and it might not be in your direct interest to do that. No one will do it. So people are raising like, $100 when they could easily, like just in one session of Kiko Lab, I was like, everyone just fucking let's do this. We're all gonna give $5 to Daniel because he has his Gitcoin grant, and people actually did it because I was about to quit if they didn't. And we raised $1,000 in 10 minutes just for a little fucking bit of discipline on people's parts, and almost no money according to them because they were all, American and European, so it's nothing. And I'm saying that we could continue this experiment and do it again with just like a little bit of discipline that we don't have, and we could start here and just show how it could happen on a very small scale. We don't have to organize some big thing. If people from Sensorica and Utopia, we can get a couple more. Unai's group, I have a group that can do it. And if we can shuffle some money around by just like what happened, how I got introduced to a Gitcoin grant, I just had a friend, Luke, who had a whole group in Curaçao, and he actually just sent me the money. He sent me like 5 DAI or Psi or something like that, and I gave it right back because I had a MetaMask account. So if we can just get people to have MetaMask's account, they don't even need to use their own money. So we can, get
Yeah, we're not allowed to do that. Well,
what?
I don't. We might not be allowed to do that according to the rules. Gitcoin. I read on the rules that they have. If you give somebody money in order to contribute to your campaign, that's a rule against that. But we could do it with a small group of people as a proof of concept or something, but we can't do it on a large scale.
We can see. We can see if we can work around that.
20 people per endeavor per grant is a good number. That's the number the experience that I have. I worked in the last round for Taodao. Oh, don't forget that Taodao is together in this too. So it's good. Well, we were doing the wrap up, right? So
Yeah.
Atus and Chibi.
Athos? Got any last words to say? You have to be gone. TB, maybe you can go.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay, no last words?
I'm fine.
I'm fine as well.
So that's it, folks.
All right.
Wow.
Okay.
Very good.
That's
work.
all she wrote.
Yeah, very good work, party. Love it to do in real time in the Trove space. Wow, great thing, Lauren. I'm really thrilled here. And
Yeah, Lauren, can I just say, make sure to email me or something when it's time to do this thing where you get people to contribute to the Gitcoin grants, because I might not hear about it any other way.
Okay.
You have my email address.
well, you're
Yeah,
actually in the
this-
newsletter. Your email is in the newsletter, right?
Well, I have never actually gotten a newsletter, so I'm
You
not sure.
haven't?
No.
Because
So
I've been sending it out to you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in my spam bin or something. Anyway, my point is that I might not hear about it one way or another. It's the most reliable way to get in touch with me is just to send me an email.
Okay.
It's well, you're in the newsletter, man. We don't know why you didn't receive it. Check out
I don't see it.
Yeah, check out your spam box. Maybe
Okay.
there. So that's it, folks. Bye bye.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. See you later.